Hello everyone, Kitten here. If you watched the other show video I just made, I ended up using the original file audio for that one, and I am still kinda too happy to actually think about what's going on, so I'm just gonna record this in one go. It doesn't matter what I say. So, this video is directed at those that are wondering what they need to do for the Giants dungeon. First of all, let's take a look at what the Giant actually does. Rock Slide is an AoE attack that deals moderate amount of damage and has a chance to stun your team. It's a standard threat, it's nothing too crazy. The big thing you need to worry about are the next two abilities. First of all, Great Earthquake. Great Earthquake deals so much more damage than the first skill. It can actually one-shot your team if you're not prepared for it. If you're just starting out with runes, that is. And it can debuff your attack speed, which makes it troublesome for you to also remove the defense break. And it's pretty terrifying when you consider he can also counter you. The counter deals about the same damage as the second skill does in an AoE. The only negative to that for the Giant is that you need to hit him to do so. But this is also the reason why some monsters just work against you in this dungeon. So you can see my current team that I use for clearing the Giants, which is much quicker than the one I showed in the other videos. But let's just talk about what might be a starting team for you. This is the team I first used ever, and probably something you would like to use as well. Now, you know that you could use Darion, you could use Aman. I prefer using Aman here. You know, I was using Chasun, but that's a different point. The first clears were done with this Aman right here. Why is this team working? Why am I choosing to bring Shannon, Veramos, and one more to this dungeon? It's not just the community says so. There is a big reason for it, and I'm just going to walk you through it. Let's look at the Giant again. What do you need to fight the Giant? The dungeon itself is not that scary. It's not a big threat. The only issue you have to worry about are the crystals, really, because the golems are just tanks. They don't deal that much damage. They slow you down with big pulls. They slow you down with just literally freezing you in AoE, but they rarely kill you. The crystals slow you down literally with the debuff, which is annoying. But they also deal a lot of damage in AoE, meaning you cannot hide your squishes from them. It's the reason why I ended up 6-starring Shannon. Past that, however, there is the Giant itself, which is where many runs fail. Obviously, if you put in a squishy and it dies before you reach the Giant, that is a problem by itself because you're missing one important component, probably most likely, of your team. But the big issue is obviously the Giant. The Giant has a lot of attack power. Way more than it shows here on the stats. The Giant has a lot of defense. You can already attest that. The Giant is very slow. And the Giant has boss level hit points. What does this mean to you? It means you need to bank on the weaknesses of the Giant and mitigate his strength in order to win. So you're looking at, first of all, to survive, reducing its attack power. If you manage to reduce its attack power, which is also getting buffed by one of the towers, you are unlikely to die. You saw in the other video, this guy was hitting like a wet kitten with B buffs on. You need to bank on the fact that he's slow. If you slow on top of the already slow Giant, you're going to kick his ass. I'm sorry for the language. It's another reason why, well, I'm showing here the chicken because the chicken deals damage proportionate to his health. His health is not that big, but it's still a boss level HP pool. So he is wonderful for killing him. That's the reason why I use him. He also helps you with survivability with the leader skill, but that's a different story. Let me carry on with what I was saying. Again, this is a voiceover that is not unscripted. What else can you do to bank on the fact that the Giant is low? You bring a speed leader and or a speed buff. Bernard. People say Bernard, Shannon, and Bella are essential for beating the Giant. Now, Bernard himself, here has a leader skill you can consider. Some people using illusions can speedrun the giant using him as a leader. The big reasons why you want to bring him is, one, the speed buff. The faster Bernard is, the more he's gonna be able to cast it and make himself even faster, the more the whole rest of the team will do his thing. Body Slam is what actually allows you to win. It has a attack power debuff. With this, the giant will not be able to kill you even if you have low level runes. You need this to land. There are many other monsters that can land the attack power debuff, but Bernard is one of the very few that can bring two very important tools to kill the giant in one small package. It's like saving one monster slot to bring just one that does the work of two. And because he is so easy to find and or skill up, and because the cooldowns on him are so short, he only has a 1 turn downtime on his utility during fights. The second skill is on a 2 turn cooldown, and the third skill is on a 3 turn cooldown with max skilled. That is really strong. Plus Bernard, you can bring him anywhere else in the game. He can be used in Toa, he can be used in Arena, he can be used in Guild Wars, no problem. Next is the more controversial and apparently censored Shannon. I forgot I did that in the video. Shannon is utility made a monster. Sure, she's a 2-star, sure she's very frail, sure you need to 6-star her to make sure that she doesn't die unless you have amazing runes already, which is not going to be the case when you want to clear the dungeon for the first time. But all of her skills are useful to clear giants. All of her skills help your team immensely, and all of her skills could very easily be on other monsters, but they're all in one, so you're saving monster slots again. The first skill already is very useful for the giant when you're first trying to clear it. Glancing hit. The glancing hit chance means that the giant is less likely to crit you. If the giant uses the second skill or the counter and crits, chances are that monster is dead if you're just starting out, especially if you didn't cleanse the defense skill. Defense skill decreased already. Defense skill? What the hell is that? Whatever. It also helps everywhere else, and with the spare, this skill is not wasted even in the trash waves. Hell, if one of the crystals is defense broken, she might be hitting the crystal with this and land the debuff and make sure that the AoE does not deal as much damage. Now, shortly I'm going to be moving to the second. There you go. Second skill combos with the spare runes incredibly well because it's an AoE. Banks on the fact that the giant is low already by reducing his speed, and allows you to slow down the crystals as well as have a chance to stun them during the trash waves. This is such a good skill, and in a Trial of Ascension this is obviously extremely good. Do you start to see why Shannon is so strong? The first two skills are already imperatively strong, and so useful in giants. Now the third one also is a very strong skill, and it's going to show up in a second. The third skill is a 3-turn uptime attack and defense power buff. There's very little skills in the game that allow you to have both buffs, and even less that allow you to have both. Well, a 3-turn duration. This skill is incredible, and again, the cooldown shown there is not showing the whole potential. It should be a -1, so it's 4 turns. Even when a Shannon is only 142 speed with comboed with Bernard, it means that this skill is going to be up every time the giant tries to attack you. A 50% extra defense on your monsters means that the giant is not going to hit you as hard. It makes it easier for you to make it to the giant and to survive the giant hits when you still have low level runes. Now the third monster we need to talk about is Belladeon. If you don't 6-star a Belladeon, you are crazy. This monster can be used everywhere: Arena, Trial of Ascension, Dragons, Giants, Guild Wars. This is another monster that you can bring anywhere, and even more than Shannon, he is applicable to every situation because he has a heal as well. Scratch is a 100% chance defense reduction, defense break. This increases your damage so much. It sets up for your nukes in Arena. It sets up for focus firing in PvE. It allows you to clear the giant as well as the dragon faster. It's just a very strong skill. If you even use revenge runes, people will have trouble attacking your Belladeon, which is one of the primary reasons why you lose arena fights. Seeds, a 100% chance of cleansing all positive effects on a target. In this dungeon, it only helps against the power attack buff on the giant, which is actually quite helpful. Everywhere else, maybe not necessarily in Trial of Ascension, but in Arena, a Chloe shield plus a Cassie shield plus attack buff combo just gets banished. Like this, and you can suddenly kill the damage dealer that had all those buffs. This is universal, and again, this doesn't show the cooldown reduction. This is on a 3-turn cooldown. Really strong skill. And finally, the heal. This heal grows with you. This heal is as good to your team as it is... Well, it's always good. The more HP you have, the bigger the heal is, which means if you have squishies, they still heal 30% of their hit points, which is, well, it's closer to 35, I believe, with the skill ups, but it increases their attack bar, it increases their health. It doesn't matter what the target is, the heal is consistent. The farther you progress the game, the better it is. There's just no reason not to pick this monster. You can even use the heal as an attack bar increase like Bernard's, and don't worry about it. Next, Veromos. You are doing yourself a disservice if you don't fuse this. I realize it's not exactly farmable, it's only obtainable, because a couple of monsters that you need can only be obtained through mystical scrolls, but he has a DOT on his first skill. He has a stun on the second skill, which is very spammable and quite accurate and dependable if mass skilled. And the passive, sure, it's gonna get nerfed very soon. This doesn't change the utility. It's like having a cleanser that doesn't need to stop and cleanse. He speeds up and makes... He speeds up your runs everywhere and makes your life much easier, especially with including the leader skill, which you can carry anywhere. He is just a strong choice. There's a reason why he's in every PvE team, almost. Him and Verdoheal are probably the best things you can do to increase your chances at anything you do in this game. I wish I had a Verdoheal, but that's a different topic. These are the 4 monsters I recommend with the bottom of your heart for you to use. Veromos can be substituted. The other 3 allow you to make a team much easier. What can you substitute Veromos with? Konamiya. Konamiya can also be carried over to dragons. I actually use him in dragons together with Veromos to ensure I have a 100% clear chance. And why is he so strong? Well, this skill right here. This is the only skill you can find on non-rare monsters that cleanses your whole team and heals at the same time. And then max skill, this is on a 3-turn cooldown. Really strong. Maximum skill, this also heals for about 20% of health, which combined with Bella equals to a bit more than 50% heal on your whole team. Nothing to scoff at. If you have Konamiya with Violent, and or if you're using Research, this skill is virtually up every other turn. Insane. And by the way, Research, if you're using Manual, this is a very strong ability. It's like having a playmaker on your soccer team suddenly changing the game for you. That's Konamiya. He's a playmaker. Other monsters you can consider are Darion. His passive is really strong regardless of where you go, because 15% damage reduction is much bigger than you would expect. For the giant in particular, he has Slash Waves, which has attack power reduce, and he also has, like Bella, once Matt's killed, a 100% chance to a defense break. He's another monster he can carry over everywhere else in the game. And let's talk about Aman. This is the monster I was using, like I said several times, before I had Chasun to clear the dungeon, and the reason is crushing power. I didn't have a 100% crit, he was still healing my whole team. This is a very strong monster for continuous heals. This allows you to sustain through Trial of Ascension as well as many other dungeons. He's particularly strong in dragons in case you don't have other options and or you don't have the runes to sustain the heals. I personally don't use him in dragons, that's why he's still 5-star, because I built a team that that was more consistent and I didn't have the slot for him, but it might not be the case for you just because you maybe not have fused what I've fused. Chloe is another option. Some of the millions use her for the immunity and the shield. Chasun obviously is another option. I've been using her. Akasis, which is not shown here because I don't own her, is an option. Bryant as a heal, which can screw you over, but is worth considering, and has an attack power debuff. So the fifth man can really be anything, but I really recommend you use Shannon and Vermos. This video is at a close. Talk to you later.